All right, tonight is the final presidential debate with less than 2 weeks to go until Election Day.
Joining us now via Zoom to talk about what we can expect, former U.S. Attorney Patrick Miles. Mr. Miles, thanks for joining us tonight.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, first off, the really big thing that came out just a couple days ago is that mics are going to be muted while one candidate is going to be answering questions. As we know, there was lots of talking over each other during that first debate. Why is this so important, and what role do you think these muted mics will be playing in this debate?
It's very important to now have these muted microphones because, we saw that President Trump couldn't follow the debate rules. He won't acknowledge that he took a coronavirus test before the debate. Looks like he didn't. He wouldn't let former Vice President Biden have his time to speak. So it's very interesting that a candidate who stands for law and order, as he says, won't follow these very simple debate rules.
And Mr. Miles, you had top secret clearance when you worked for the Obama administration as a U.S. attorney. Talk to me about what recently came out yesterday, actually, from the FBI in terms of Iran, in terms of Russia having some type of interference with our election. How common is something like this, and what is it like for somebody in your position to see these foreign entities trying to interfere in our election?
Well, foreign entities, whether it's foreign governments or foreign bad actors individually, are constantly trying to attack our national cyber infrastructure. That's been going on for well over a decade. And so our law enforcement, particularly at the federal level, is extremely vigilant about that, to protect our infrastructure and as well as proprietary information. That doesn't get stolen and then copied and then used against us in the economy and on defense. So that Iran and Russia were trying to infiltrate our election process isn't much of a surprise. It's a huge task to do that because we have 3,000 different counties in the United States. So we have 3,000 different ballot types that, with local races as well as the national presidential election and the other state races. So this type of electronic intrusion is fairly unusual from the standpoint that to know what their end game was, what their goal was. I think at the base level, it might be just to, again, cause disruption and distrust by the American people in the election process. And so we want to have full confidence, as we always do, in our election results. And so after November 3rd, and as results come in and are counted, we want to have certainty that we can trust the result and that we won't have a disruption to our American democratic institution like our election. And so that's something we all, as all Americans, patriotic Americans, we've got to believe in the results and abide by it to maintain our strong republic democracy.
Right, and that security is so important. Mr. Miles, one more question before we let you go. Law enforcement and race relations in the U.S. obviously going to be a big sticking point in this debate, as it was in that first debate. What does each candidate need to do to kind of stay on message and stay on point to accomplish what they want to in that debate?
Well, former Vice President Biden has really got to continue to bolster his credentials with the African American community in terms of some of his past votes, particularly the 1994 crime bill. I know there's still some distrust about that vote, and he's got to really come across, which I think he does fairly well, with empathy and with understanding, and maybe even apologizing and saying that he was wrong. And I think he's done that in some other forums, but he might need to do that again tonight with such a wide audience. President Trump has got to firmly and forcibly say that he opposes white nationalism and white supremacy and right-wing extremism, and that he supports law and order, that he supports law enforcement, and that he can denounce those types of constituencies which seem to be supporting him, but he's got to stand up as an American and say, look, I denounce these once and for all. They have no place in America. And then that actually would help him, I think, increase his base of support. And he must increase his base of support at this point in the campaign, because it looks like he's behind and he's only speaking to his narrow base. And he's losing a lot of voters that voted for him in 2016.
All right, it's going to be interesting tonight how things play out with the microphone situation. Thanks for your insight. Again, Patrick Miles, former U.S. Attorney, thank you for joining us tonight.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.